Hello, welcome to the Green Machine. We're live. We're sexy. I'm sexy, Martin. Are you sexy?
Yeah,
You feeling sexy?
you're very sexy the other night when I saw you,
There you
Dave, and I
go.
think you might want to be very sexy tomorrow.
If she plays the cards right tomorrow morning, or or just doesn't stand me up. Well, I think the state you were in the other night, Martin, a fucking speaking weight machine would have been sexy. But anyway,
Yeah, there you go.
yes. As you can tell, I'm in Malta in my bedroom, my hotel room even, and I have had about 6 hours sleep, and I keep saying it over the last 3 days, and I'm dying from my bed. But I did go over to the pre-match. I was going to say foreplay. That's what we do, isn't it? But did go over for the L pre-match press conference anyway. It was a bit strange. The timings were a bit weird. What we were told and what happened were two completely different things. So, hey, but it was very interesting, man. It was good, but not explosive. Nothing like that going on. Very cool for me to go over to the Ta'ali. Don't call it Ta'ali. It's Ta'ali,
Right.
right?
Yeah. The
I think
scene
that's
of
what.
a famous triumph.
Yeah, yeah. When we qualified for the World Cup in 1989, I'll just actually show you a picture of me looking,
Oh, looking very sexy there,
and
Dave.
I've even put it in black and white just to make it look more dramatic. Look at that, and yeah, Pierce press conference anyway.
Nice.
Photograph took from it there. Yeah, there's Kieran on the left, communications director, and Stephen Kenny in the middle, and Seamus Coleman, who will play tomorrow. It was announced. Actually, sorry, where are my manners? As always, lads, get involved. Have it your say. Tell us what you think. Should we get into the highlights of what happened at the press conference, Martin? Would you like that?
Yes, yes, please.
Would
Yeah,
you like
go on.
that? Would you like a bit of that? Right. Well, I didn't ask any questions because I didn't have a lot of time. But you had Dan McDonnell, you had Neil Reardon, you had John Fallon. A lot of heavyweights over there. And I was just sitting down the back plotting, Martin. Plotting I was. Plotting.
You've
Plotting.
already
What am I
told
gonna
me you already told me what you've been plotting that you're doing
well,
over there. All right,
well,
so come
yeah.
on, cut to.
Sorry,
So
yeah.
what were they
Concentrate.
asking? Come on,
Jesus,
come on.
concentrate. Focus.
Because
Right.
I'm sure he get asked some interesting questions. He must have been challenged about the other night and changing the team
Um,
and things.
yes, he was. He was asked, "Will there be key changes for tomorrow?" He said, "No."
Ah,
Okay, shut that one down. I said, "Not too many." And they're trying to build a squad for March. He seems to be very satisfied with his strength and depth, which we have discussed on this numerous times. He does not have, in my opinion. I think in your opinion, and certainly in Nick's opinion, he wrote a brilliant article about it. Yeah, he seems to be very happy with what he's got, and I think he just wants to get those to gel and play more and all this. Anyway, he said he will only introduce players if they deserve it. Seamus will start, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast. He said he's very proud of Seamus, actually, a tremendous competitor. Fair enough. He was also asked about the opposition. Kenny responded, well, they've improved a lot, which they have, actually, to be fair.
mm,
And Kenny did mention that we've never had an easy game in Malta. I think that's actually true, I don't think we've ever, even under Jack, we never hammered Malta. Now, that will have absolutely no
yeah,
significance on tomorrow, but, he did mention that.
it's a difficult one though, isn't it? It's a difficult question because he can obviously talk about how much they've improved and everything like that, but he can't he can't be dismissive of them, obviously, and he can't downplay them. So that's the challenge for him. It's a very difficult question, and if you think about it, when you're coming up against a minnow, you can't say, "Oh yeah," well, you always have to kind of give them praise. They're hosting you, obviously, as well as basic manners
Well,
and stuff like
yeah, I
that.
mean, look, you remember Mick McCarthy, when we get so high, mighty, when he'd
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
you always get asked when we play like Liechtenstein, oh, should they be in their own little playoff? Yeah, it's called the Nations League. Um, but anyway, yeah, just continuing on that, like he does want to finish on a high. He did say, he was asked about his own side, maybe about the game against Norway. You know, he did mention there was a lot of possession but no penetration. Hopefully, have the opposite tomorrow morning.
Jesus. Right.
Sorry, it's only 7 o'clock over there, isn't it? I don't know what the watershed is in Malta, but yes, I just basically said no. He didn't. He was very happy with the match. He said on in Dublin. He said he was very pleased with the performance. That we got better. We showed quality. So he did not. Basically, yeah, he just didn't have an issue with how he played, and he didn't think his team was afraid to push forward, which is kind of the leading question. Was like about the game, but do you think we were just afraid to push forward? Because I think everyone thought, we mentioned about your mate O'Dowda, who did get a 7, by the way. I fucking told you to get a 7, didn't I?
Outrageous. You did. I mean,
outrageous.
Yeah, no. But I mean, I I obviously listened to the post show, which was excellent. You and Breen and Nick on it, and I mean, I think there was a lot of disappointment from the other night and stuff. I think a lot of it didn't work in a sense, and the disappointment. It was strange. Obviously, I obviously had left the game after my interesting day, basically watching it with yourself. But then the next morning, obviously, it was at the airport. A lot of people going off to Malta and chatting to people, and it was just weird. The first comment someone said to me was the first ball that went to O'Dowda when he came deep, and we pointed out, and we had a good chat about it, like when we were watching the game, was that he knocked it back, played very safe. I chatted to a few people after the game. Everyone was saying how safe our wingers played, and I know for all the criticism of some of the views of like perhaps our wingers didn't do anything, our wing backs, but we were chatting a lot during the game and saying O'Dowda's name quite a bit, what he was offering or what he wasn't offering, but like that was because he was the one it was going to. Doherty for me did absolutely nothing. And I could see, I think he probably got a 7 in hindsight because he was the one who crossed the ball and it came out, then it was cleared, and that was what fell to Alan Brown. But it was disappointing the other night. The set pieces conceding there was really poor. That was a massive disappointment for me. We shouldn't be conceding those kind of goals, and you're going to get punished again. It's a lot better opposition. I can see tomorrow being quite a kind of cagey affair, but there's no excuses for me. That's why I was asking you. Obviously, the questions you were at the press conference, what he's been asked, it doesn't seem to be a lot being fed out of it yet. But is he being clever and not saying too much because everything's been analysed, or is he just being him?
I think it was just very chill. It was just a very chill press conference. Yeah. It was very quiet. There was no real. It's very nice. Like, it's very nice here. Malta's lovely. It's very relaxing. There was no. And I mean, they did ask him about that, and he said he was very happy about the team. Fair enough. But
I mean, I don't know. Is he kind of thinking it was experimental, even going with like Brown in the middle, Malumbi and obviously Cullen as a midfield? Was that experimental? I don't think it was. We know what they all do.
No.
I mean, I shouldn't understand. I mean, bringing on Jeff Hendrick is a little bit of a reward, and you're saying, you've been quite solid on obviously in Reading and stuff, and what he's done, but he brought on Ferguson, so he kind of set a precedent of capping someone late on. Could have done the same with Will Smallbone, I think. And is he going to play now tomorrow? I mean, it'll be a wasted opportunity, I think, if you don't bring Will Smallbone into that team.
We won't go on about it too much because I vented my spleen after it. I think the squad was completely wrong, and then because when you, in my opinion, you select the wrong squad, then you are limited for what you can pick. And yes, he experimented with Callum O'Dowda as a wing back. Absolutely not. I don't know why Ryan Manning can't get in the team as a left wing back and why O'Dowda is brought in there. O'Dowda has very rarely featured for Ireland under Kenny, quite frankly, because of injury problems. He played like a guy who didn't want to get injured. In fact, he wasn't the only one, but that's the problem when you bring in seasoned pros into a team like that. You need to bring in blood, guts, and thunder, young players that are too naive to take it handy in a friendly. Like they're still excited about playing for Ireland, where these guys, not saying they don't want to play for Ireland, but at the end of the day, it is a meaningless friendly for them. It would have become meaningful, in my opinion, if you had brought in the young players. That's when it would have been meaningful. But other than that, it was just meaningless, and we learned nothing from it.
For me, O'Dowda, though, I think where he is playing very safe within himself and not being brave, I think it's kind of been coached out of him a little bit of that stuff, that the kind of skills and things, what he brought to the Ireland squad 2016, he was just fearless then. A little bit like, I know I've often go off on a tangent, but like Rashford, when he first broke through, that fearlessness, you just go in at players, you're doing what got you noticed and got you into the squad. When you start playing safe and playing too tactical, it just becomes, very sterile and stuff. He's not brave enough. Like McLean would have ran at that fullback the first time. The opportunity in the game, you test that fullback. You say that if you're coaching kids, you say you test your man, you take him on, you see is he up for a game or not. I mean, just to kind of ease your way into a game, I don't get that kind of approach from O'Dowd, to be honest. That's a criticism of him. There you go. We'll get the time and the diary note of this. But I thought he grew into the game. He did grow into the game, and I think more so for me than Doherty, who I think has to do a little bit more. He's a more senior pro. He's a more established player in our lineup. He should be more creative.
Doherty's looking at that thinking, you know what? I've just almost about got back into the Tottenham team. Yeah. He's in and out. He's thinking, I don't want to risk that. That's why that was my problem, and that's why he shouldn't have gone for season pros, because they have a lot to lose. Where young lads have nothing to lose because they have nothing. They're young, like they go for it to give you everything. And we'll move on. So he was asked by a local lad. There was one local reporter, and I'll tell you about him in a second. Nice fella, actually. He asked, do you feel any pressure for not reaching the World Cup? And Kenny said absolutely no pressure felt from that. Fair enough. That local guy actually is a fellow called Bernie Lynch, and he's from Newry. he's lived in Malta for 50 years, and he was their correspondent, their Maltese correspondent to the game.
See, we get
only the Irish get that. We do. He did, but he did make a comment though. It's before the press conference. You did say that the days of hammering Malta like 5-6-7-0 are over. They have improved technically a lot now. Would still expect a win tomorrow. With comfortable 2-3-4-0 win, but they're not terrible. It's just.
I think with our players, we should be 2 or 3-0, like you said. But looking back at their results, I mean, it's obviously important we cover them. I mean, none of their players are going to be really known to any of us. I was actually Googling and checking out a few of them there, and one lad actually plays for Sutton United, came through at Barnet, played at Hendon. It's a nice little link there to the Claddering from the host pub of West London, which I thought was quite nice. But it's. Yeah, they're not really massively known, many of their players. I mean, their local league, Hibernian, are obviously a well-known team at that level. But these guys are, this is lower league of Nations League teams and stuff, international football. They're not, they have improved. I think it was an interesting article I read recently in the 42 with Robbie Brady, and he was saying how even young players coming through now all are very technical. There's no more of that kicking, rushing and stuff. I thought that was quite good, and it's worth a read, that article, because it's a little bit kind of showing how happy he is coming to play for Ireland and what Kenny's trying to do, and that will take time. But looking back at Malta's results, I mean, look, they beat Israel recently. They drew with Greece at home as well. All right, Greece went down to 10 men, but and the Israel result actually was 2 late goals that they won there. But I mean, they are the perennial whipping boys, aren't they? I mean, they've got a really tough qualifying draw now. They've got Italy and England,
and I'm missing 3 players Ukraine. Tomorrow. But I'm missing 2 players tomorrow as well. The captain did not get his name. I do apologize. Jean Borg and Joseph Mbong. So they are missing players. They don't have strength and depth at all. But he was actually the manager. He was the interim coach. He's the under-21s coach as well, and he was in charge of the last 2 games. And he's like, I don't know if he's going to be in charge, but obviously he's replaced this fella here.
Davis Mangier.
He was actually accused of making sexual advances to one of the players, and he denied it, but he resigned anyway. So, oh dear. But anyway, he was very nice towards Ireland. He came in afterwards. He was very, very nice. Probably too nice, actually. They are treating this to them. They are treating us as a big team. And he said he felt Ireland should have gone to the World Cup.
I see that.
I was thinking, you're lashing on a bit too thick there, Gilbert Agius. But That is his name. But nice guy anyway. But but he was flashing on a bit too thick there. And I think they'd just be nice. Maltese people just said to be lovely anyway. They're just very hospitable. And as you say, like, we're going to be nice about them. They're going to be nice about us. There's no issue there. But he did say that we have a dynamic style of football, very technical. So, you're not hearing that British style. So the DNA of Irish football has changed somewhat. I'm not saying it's all down to Kenny, by the way. That's down to the owner. That's mostly down to the youth level coaches coming through, and which were now married up finally. Coleman as well was asked a few questions, being the captain. He was asked about what will he do about complacency, which was obviously alluding to the result on Thursday, was it? The game against Norway.
Yeah, Thursday night. Yeah,
Thursday night. And, he just said that basically the lads have to appreciate the green shirt because, this cap could be your last kind of thing. He was also asked about his year so far. And, basically said, yeah, he hadn't been in the best of form. Had a procedure in June. So he wasn't in tip-top condition, but he feels a lot better now. And, he was also asked about, winding up his Ireland career a bit. And, he probably didn't come out of this feeling too good. It was, it was very sort of like, over the hill kind of stuff. But, he says, you got to give everything, because, and he repeated himself. He says, because this cap could be your last. And he was also asked about, would you just keep going until you can't go anymore for Ireland? He goes, no. He said, no. He said, if it was affecting this club career, he probably, he'd have to say, hold on a second. If he was getting injured and banged up, he'd probably have to manage himself. I mean, he's 34 now anyway, so it wouldn't make way. I mean, it would be a loss if he retired from international football, but it's not like, Alan Shearer at the age of 31 retiring from England, or Paul Scholes at 29. You know what I mean? Like, he's had a good innings, but still, I'd still have him on the trip. So he's a great guy. And basically, then he was asked about what do you think of the Euro group, and he said he's relishing it. But he feels we can match the top teams. He said, we showed some great performances against Portugal and some of the Belgium as well, that we can match the top teams. So, he's a pro though, isn't he? Like,
yeah, he knows how to handle the media as well.
Oh yeah,
better than the manager probably. So,
that wouldn't take much. That wouldn't take much. And I love Kenny, but let's be honest, it wouldn't take much. But I was just sitting there with a grin. I was laughing to myself at the stuff he was coming out with. Yeah, pulling on the green jersey. Look, I know he means that, but it's like there's no flies on you, mate. When he comes out of it, he's so good. He's so.
It's a lot often a stock answer, but there is a genuineness with it, and I, we all love him and what he's done, and that's what I think is important. How he does stay around the squad, and like again, giving that message that it could be your last cap is a message to these lads at the start of their international careers that you've got to play as with it. It's that you've got to take your chance. That's what I know. I'm going to bring up Adada again. He's got to take his chance. Anyone coming into it, no, but Smallbone as well. Though they've got to take their chances. They've got to be brave and take their chance because otherwise,
Adada did none of that.
No, I know he didn't. No, he didn't. So if he's going to be given a chance, maybe without the pressure of a home crowd, I'm not defending the performance the other night because I thought it was one of our worst for a long time, that first half especially. But I thought the crowd were really, really flat the other night. There was absolutely no atmosphere in there. I didn't think. I don't know what they did on the ticketing. I know it was a little bit of going to be the Haaland show, but even later on, it was a bit clueless kind of support at home with doing the Mexican wave and stuff. Like, it's not as if we were going off to a tournament and you're all jovial with that. We were going off to play Malta in a friendly.
They were bored.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that always feels.
It was a terrible performance. I mean, the team needs to lift the crowd. The crowd needs to lift the team. It's a vicious circle, and
and that's why he should have made changes earlier to kind of even the small bone coming on earlier, for example, would have lifted the crowd as a different player. You'd have given him a chance as a fan, and it was just I don't know. We don't want to harp on too much about the other night, but I was very disappointed by that, and I'd like to see Ogbene would give us a lift now, change it up a little bit. We've got nothing to lose with this one, and he's still, apart from Ian Hart, most of us are behind him. Ian Hart was quite scathing, obviously, of him on Twitter,
and he's Mick's boy, isn't he? Let's be honest, he's Mick's boy. Mick gave him his debut when he was 12. So they're all Mick's boy, like Jason McAteer, all that. You can see some of the lads in the media. Right, let's move on to the comments. Keith Fitzsimmons. All right, boys. All right, Keith. How are you?
Hi,
Good
Keith.
man. Punchy Dahi. Okay. Catchy name. Looking forward to the match tomorrow. Might have been living here for a year and missed the matches back home and the League of Ireland.
Yes.
Tomorrow, match tomorrow. Have been living here for a year. Where are you living, Dave? Dahi. Is it Malta?
MTIE, is that Malta? As an international kind of code or something?
Oh,
I don't know.
must be.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? Get back to bleeding Ireland then.
Yeah, enjoy the game is what I'd say, and hopefully your ticket was only €15 instead of the Irish fans playing €35.
Oh.
That's not right. That's going to rumble that. There's something about that one because they're the same section.
They asked, there was questions asked about that at the press
Yeah.
conference, and I was sitting there and I was watching it, and they
on your free ticket. It's not impacting me.
Hold on a second now. You know all about free tickets. But no, but yeah, they were asking the rep, the media rep for the Maltese Football Association, and they were like, "What's going on there?" And she goes, "No, like €15." But yeah, if you're local, you can get a ticket for €15. I know it's €35.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Just to say on that, fair play to everybody. I know we're going to comments to come, but like fair play, 600 going over there this time of year, month before Christmas is fantastic support. You know, we've got some from the different supporters club, the Chris lads, Tullamore and are over there, Nickel Interglasser, 600 going over. Yeah, that's incredible. I've seen people going, kids and everything. So I hope they're all safe, enjoy it. You know, came at the wrong time for as many of us, but like fair play because it's that's incredible.
I don't even know what day it is, Martin. Do you know that? I'm so shy. I really don't. Like, I went, had the Bono show on Wednesday, then went to Dublin Thursday with no sleep, then came back with no sleep.
Sorry, just pick that name off the floor there, will you?
Sorry. Paul. I should call him Paul. I think we're that close now. Paul. And then basically...
Is he your favourite Paul?
No comment. Don't you start fucking poking the bear now. Know what you're up to. I haven't seen him over here. And basically, like flew back and then had about 2 hours sleep as well. And then I've just like come over here on EasyJet, which is fantastic. I'll tell you how tired I am actually. I'm so tired, right? Because when you're in London, you know yourself, you don't need to take cash out. I actually tried to take cash out of a petrol machine.
Nice.
I thought this was an ATM. It looks like an ATM. Though,
it does, yeah. Well, it says bank or not. So yeah,
exactly.
Easy mistake.
Exactly. Now, fair enough. There were 2 massive petrol pumps behind me, but that goes without saying. I didn't see those. So, right, back to the comment. But that's how shagged out I am. Hopefully, more so tomorrow. Ryan Gunn, Seamus Coleman. Great to see him given a chance. We know little to nothing about this player. Great to see. Martin. Am I detecting
just a bit?
Am I detecting a little bit of sarcasm there? I don't know. Although, to be fair, point taken, right? Even Evan Ganley. Surely I'm not the only one who thinks Jeff Hendrick is finished. Oh, and you're not. You're really not. I don't want to go on about it. I was actually really hoping that he didn't show up at the press conference. I would have hid. I would have hid under the fucking table.
I think the thing with Jeff, though, I think he's going in the realms of like kind of Glenn Whelan in that he's hanging on, which is fine. And Whelan was retired before he officially retired himself, and still did a fantastic job for us. So I think he's in the realms of that now. But I think sometimes they like the stability of having a senior pro, maybe bringing through some of these younger midfielders in. I know I'm clutching at straws there to kind of justify that. I can't really justify the substitution of him getting a cap the other night, and it's a cheap cap to give away, basically. So, I think that sometimes, you're right, people might be, not have appreciation of Jeff in a way, but even we're quite quick to kind of put people away. I think, just sometimes. I think.
What, like Calmatauda?
Well, no, I think he's got to have a chance. I like you're not going to rule him off for one game, are you? And you know when he's
Well,
probably doing something that
Calmatauda.
they've done. Yeah,
No, I've heard real about ages ago, mate.
yeah. All right, look, you write off Robbie Brady, so
I'll take. Oh, yeah, I'll take that one on the chin.
yeah.
You know, I'm glad to be wrong. I'm glad to be wrong about that one.
Well, there you go.
Right, Kavana H. Thomas. How are you, lads? Haven't caught a live show in a while. Probably haven't done one for a while, to be honest with you, Kavana. We are overreacting to a friendly Norway match in terms of performance. However, should have been more experimental, and the subs were just shite. Yeah, it also was bad on experimental level in that he said it wasn't meant to be experimental, but there were some new elements in there anyway. It was a perfect time to pair Benny and Abafemi. Why oh why was that not done? I totally agree with you there.
Yeah,
you know, we won't get into it too much because we're going to sound like we're repeating ourselves. But yeah, 100%. That was the time to experiment. And look, if it doesn't work out, it's a friendly, and then nobody cares. Nobody cares because you go, well, look, he tried a few things, and then you could sit here and go, he tried it, it didn't work. At least we know it doesn't work. It was like you look at Martin O'Neill and Mick. Mick tried Conor Harahan as a left back, didn't he? A left wing back, because he wanted him coming in with his left foot, and it didn't work. And he says, "I'll never do that again." You know. And then he had Martin O'Neill with Cyrus Christie, constantly playing him as a centre midfielder.
Yeah,
stupid. Anyway, Keith Simons. We simply lack creative quality, unfortunately. We do. We're hoping someone like, somebody like Robbie Brady can sort that out a little bit. But yeah, we are lacking a spark. We are definitely lacking it. Ryan Gunn again, with friendlies having no bearing on ranking for Euros or World Cups seeding, there's no point in not experimenting. If we can't play Scales, Ferguson, Smallbone, and Sykes v Malta, and Norway's second string, when can you? Thursday was a joke, to be honest. Ryan, that is very true. Because after this, and because UEFA have had their way to Nations League, there are no friendlies. There are very few friendlies. There are literally 2 friendlies a year. And this is it. After that, it's March. It's France, isn't it?
So, yeah, that is the challenge he's got there. But you know, you've got to remember though, he's been working with the lads for 7 days and stuff, and I think that's what he likes to work with them in camp and let them know the system and how it adapts and things. So he's obviously seeing things behind the scenes, and for him, the experimentation may not actually be in the game. Now, I know that sounds a bit of nonsense to say that because we want to see as fans what they're doing in the game. You want to see the likes of Will Smallbone do it actually when it matters. And maybe he is doing really well in training and stuff, and he's not trying to rush him into it because he doesn't give caps away cheaply, in a sense. I mean, I just thought if he should go all out with it. We've criticised him of not making the subs quick enough, and it would give the fans a lift. That's what you use the friendlies for. You kind of do give the fans a lift. You let them see something they've not seen. So Smallbone should have come on earlier. Yeah. Evan Ferguson a lot earlier. Ogbene, come on. You can make loads of subs as well, can't you? So just bring them on. And he has the perfect excuse. When it doesn't work out, you can say, oh, well, actually, everybody, I cat people. You've been calling for these lads to see what they're like. I've given them experience now. And, that's it. But he hasn't done that. So he's not really giving them an excuse when he does fail, in a sense. And I don't think he's been very clear on it. He's saying in the press conference, I'm not worried about things, and we're happy and things like that. He should be saying it's experimental, and why are we treating it so seriously? Like other teams treat friendlies as friendlies. So, but he's not giving that answer to people, I don't think.
No, he's not, because he picked a senior side. He picked the strongest team he had available to him. Probably would have picked Conor Harahan if it wasn't for the fact that Derby wouldn't release him, which absolutely scares the shit out of me, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Gary McGeola Breed, I think I said it right. If Ireland don't win tomorrow, do we get rid of Kenny? I don't think he'll go, but it would take something pretty special for us not to beat Malta tomorrow.
They'll be cool. If they don't win tomorrow, there'll be massive call. There'll be so much pressure because you can't not you. But that's not being dismissive and disrespectful to Malta. You cannot lose to them. Like it doesn't matter. Like our under-21s would match them, I think. So you can't afford our senior team to lose against them. So yeah, I think there would be justified calls for him to go if they don't get results tomorrow. That's the pressure he's under. Even if it was a draw, I know that's awful as well, but they played very, very well, and you saw something that would buy him time. But this is results business now. We can't be going into that because they just lose interest. People are going to be on their back. Like we're talking about it week in, week out, David, about football and watching Ireland, and we're doing this show and things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of Ireland fans are looking at that result, seeing that we're playing Malta. They don't care that they've improved. They're not going to look at that. They're going to think it's 2-3-0 here, and they're not going to worry about it. And that's what he's got to understand now. There is a lot of interest, and it is a little bit like that.
Listen, you've had 2.5 years in a job.
Yeah, no more excuses.
No. McGann again. Benny surely starts over Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah, for me.
Let's see what him and Obafemi could do up front. Dave McGuinness, it's a sudden bad performance, though. I think he means to say it's not a sudden bad performance, though, because he's not a fan of Kenny. We were woeful against Armenia and toothless against Scotland. We've been consistently bad with no signs of getting better. That I don't agree with. I thought the game in Scotland, I thought we were excellent. If you mean toothless in terms of not being able to finish, you have a point there, but that was a great game of football. It was one of those that could have gone either way. There have been good performances. It hasn't just always been terrible. It's just, unfortunately, it's the bad ones that get the most news. Evan Ganley, small one, needs to get a run. Yes, he does. Start him tomorrow. Start him against Malta. Why not him and Ferguson? Start both of them, for God's sakes. It's not hard. Dave McGuinness has been consistent regression since the Scotland game in Dublin.
That's not, though, has it? Because we were 2-0 up against Armenia, and the game should have been put to bed, and we didn't manage it well. And they could have come back into it. They did come back into it. They could have got 1-3-2, but we ground out the result after a pretty shocking performance by some of our subs, I would say, and just dropped off the pace and everything. So he should have managed that game a lot better. That was his in-game management. He made the subs. We could have conceded again and lost the game, but we actually went up the other end, got that penalty. However fortunate we were to get that. Brady puts it away. We've won the game. So Scotland, I wasn't disappointed. I thought we played very well in Scotland.
It was a great game.
And again, this was the thing, though, the other day. It was a disappointing performance. That's the most I've been disappointed, I think.
Yeah. There's an interesting one coming up here. I sincerely struggle to understand why you still appear to back Kenny. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, the thing is, David, and I think I'll speak for Martin on this one as well, is that when Stephen Kenny was appointed the manager, there was hysteria amongst Irish fans. I had people sending me private messages saying, "Oh, I don't know about this." Mick had got 2 results against Gibraltar and Georgia, and people were clamoring, "Oh, it's back. We need to keep making the job. I don't want Stephen Kenny. Before a ball was kicked against Bulgaria in the 1-1 draw, people were just like, "Oh, I don't like this guy." And I have said consistently all throughout this that I will judge him, give him time. I will judge him if I see improvement. And I have seen improvement. You won't see the improvement, David, no matter what. I think that's just where you're at. You just won't see it. You said it's been consistently bad all the time. It hasn't. Okay, we've said that the Scotland game up in Glasgow was excellent. We battered them at home. Armenia, okay, it was so comfortable. And yes, 2 players that he picks, and I don't know why they pick him, Hendrick and Hourhan, led to mistake. No, they shouldn't be in the squad, but I've actually said that consistently, that his in-game management is poor. He's shown loyalty to players that he shouldn't be showing loyalty to, and that could cost him the job in the end. I want to see this man do so well. I like what he's trying to do. It's the first Ireland manager in such a long time that's actually shown confidence in the players. People are coming out and they're going on about, I want Sean Dyche in, or bring back Sam Allardyce. Really? Is that what we want? Is that what we want to go back to, that long ball hitting it over the top and paying him £5 million a year for it? Is that what we really want to go to? So we might just get to a tournament in the next 10 years and be absolutely rubbish at it, and then just need a few things to go our way to maybe get into the next round. Look at Martin O'Neill era. Okay, people say, "Oh, you give a bad time." Finished 3rd in the group, got a playoff. Finished 3rd in the actual tournament itself, got into the next round against France. I want a structure. I want a good structure for Irish football. I want us to be able to qualify for tournaments on a consistent level. I don't want it to be, through a wink and a nod. I want it to be actual structure. And I think for too long we winged it. And this guy is trying to come in and do that. Now, in saying that, he may not be the man to take it to the next level. I am going to give him till the end of the Euros. And unless, if we finish 3rd, I think most people would be understanding, because it's a terrible group. But if we're stumbling and we're 4th or maybe 5th or whatever, then obviously there's got to be a conversation. It's how we perform now. And we've said it consistently, David. We've said it consistently. We said there's no more excuses for him. He's 2.5 years in the job now. So for me, he needs to start learning very quickly from his mistakes. And I don't think he has. And we've said this, people are coming on and giving me dogs abuse on the page and saying, "Oh, why are you constantly defending?" It's like, they're not reading or listening to what I'm saying. And I've said it, Martin, you're a witness. I said it from day one. His in-game management is poor. His, his in-game management is poor. Loyalty to certain players, like Hendrick, like Carahan, these guys. He needs to be bolder, And anytime he's been bold, he's been rewarded. Bazunu, he was rewarded with. Collins
getting
Collins.
it,
yeah.
Even Obafemi, how he handled that, let's give him credit for that. I think that he was knocked down with the under-21s, and he's got him playing for him now. He's probably the first starting name on the team sheet as a forward. Like, I'll jump on what you said there, David. I mean, I was so disappointed with the other night, and I was kind of having doubts a little bit just because that's not a good enough performance for me. I'm going to give him this Euros. I think there's no excuses now. This is a settled squad, no COVID, hopefully. All those factors still in play. I think I know he name checks it, and it starts to drive me nuts how he always says how fast-tracked he brought in 13 players forward from the under-21s and things like that. You're going to have time. We're without Parrott, without Ida. They're Obama-Deli. They're all players who are going to come in and really give us strength there. And I think just look at the structure even below that. The under-21s had a very good qualifying campaign, unlucky in the playoff. Under-18s playing very well. Under-16s, the seeds have been sown there, I think, underneath. And I think he's very much involved with that, working closely with some of them other managers. So I think there's incredible talent coming through. And that talent, let's just be clear on that, it was never given time with any other manager. He's the only one who's actually given, looking at that and liaising with. I was with Mark O'Toole the other day, who's a scout for Ireland, and he was just dropping names on me, going, "Look this lad up, check this fella out," because he was going, "This fella, you've got to watch him." There is incredible talent coming through, technical players showing that we can compete. And I think Kenny he's fast-tracked a lot of them. He's now got it settled. I think there's no excuses now as well. The fact he keeps saying I fast-tracked them, and now he's got more of a settled squad. I think we will see the likes of Horahan, Duffy, Jeff Hendrick be phased out within this next qualifying campaign.
Wow.
I think that's just going to happen. I think we will. No, I think I honestly think we will. Perhaps not Jeff Hendrick, but I think Horahan and Duffy, I think will be, because we've just got more strength where they play. I think Seamus Coleman obviously is going to have one last campaign here with this one. I think we can't get rid of him. I wouldn't want to get rid of him. I think he brings us so much more as a senior pro, and he recognises that role. I think though we're in a good place in a way, but we can't see poor performances anymore. And that's what I need him to see as man management, is making changes quicker, giving them a verbal kick up the arse in view of everybody, not defending poor performances anymore as well. So, I just was disappointed in some of the previous campaigns when we've started poorly in the first game and struggled. And then he seems to maybe get them in training and give them a kick up the arse, and they play really well the second one.
It's always
running now in these 2 games.
One forward, 2 back.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to finish these last few comments here because I need my bed. Big day tomorrow. Kavanagh H. Thomas, lads, though, the Kenny out argument almost always ends when the question is asked, "Okay, so who else coming forward that would be better?" And you never get an answer. That's a fair point. I listen, if people are looking for your Allardyces and you think you need it, absolutely ridiculous. Chris Hughton as well? No. God, no. You had...
Sorry, go on.
Like, you had 47,000 tickets. Okay, a lot of that was for Haaland, but still 41,000 showed up to watch Ireland play. They've had a record. People do want to watch entertaining football. It is entertainment at the end of the day, and you don't want to watch some dribbling, piss poor game of football like we had under O'Neill and all that. I do not want to go back there. As I said, Kenny may not be the man to take us forward, but the plan is sound. The plan is
that's the point. That is it. He may not be the one. He might fall on his own sword here, but we're going to get the benefit in years to come. Another manager may get the benefit if it's not him. I hope it is him, because I think you're rewarded for your hard work and the change you're bringing in. I've been watching Ireland for years. It's like yourself, David, going over like the days of Martin O'Neill as a manager or a manager of that ilk, who doesn't give any of the players praise, doesn't let them play, always talks up the opposition. We get the win against them. And
I don't have Robbie Keane.
that nonsense. Like Martin O'Neill's got his book out at the moment. It's worth reading and thinking. To be honest, we will be chatting about it on a future podcast. But Martin O'Neill for Ireland and qualifying for the Euros, which was a massive thing in my lifetime anyway. Most recent history as well, if we qualified for fantastic tournament. We had some great memories from it, and Ireland fans are very proud of that performance. Robbie Brady's goal, iconic. Martin O'Neill thinks so much of that he's given it one chapter in his book. So that will just show you he's not. I think for me, he just thinks of Ireland as kind of in a way doing us a favour that he managed us. He doesn't feel very valued by Irish fans. I know there's been lots of talk about the book as well, probably worth getting a read. But that, just to be very clear, he gives one chapter to Ireland, moans about Robbie Keane not being in the prime of his youth, sadly, because then what's he working with? We had some great, we had a great tournament under him, but the qualifying campaign, incredibly lucky. Like, we went to Scotland, didn't we? Lost 1-0. And, we got a lot of lucky results, late results, late draws that qualified. Everything kind of fell in our favour a little bit for him. But I don't want to watch that. I don't want us going, we're not going to, I don't want to hear our manager getting Holland and France in the group game. It's a very, very tough group and we won't beat them. We're looking to qualify third, because that's not what it is, for me anyway.
Right. Let's last few comments and then I'm going to bed. Dave McGuinness, I don't deny I'm firmly Kenny out, and that was from the get-go, and I've tried to put faith in it. But I agree with Diddy Human. We always celebrate the dead rubber matches. That is a huge misread. And Kenny, well, what I would say there, the dead rubber matches were at the end of a qualifying campaign, and my logic was basically, if he starts off poorly but finishes strongly, then that's progress. Same with Mick from 96 to 97. It was rubbish. They already had, but he got the hang of the job. By 97, he finished strongly. 98, Argentina. We lost 2-0, but the performance was encouraging. Duff, Keane, and then it just took off. And we were very lucky not to qualify, which I was accused of having a go at Mick McCarthy by Cormac Grimes, who really is probably out shouting at the clouds right now. Said that because I mentioned that we should have qualified with 30 seconds on the clock. That was having a dig, the game in Macedonia. That was having a dig at Mick. Anyway,
you love Mick. We know you love Mick.
I do love Mick. That's the thing. I actually really do. Anyway, Dave McGuinness again. Coming from someone who's involved in grassroots, I can confirm that Kenny has absolutely zero input in the lower age grades. None. Some of the coaches have never met him. That's a complete myth. No, but I mean, I'm on about the other 21s, and I'm also on about the fact that, and I have said, I did actually say that, by the way, that, it's not down to him, it's down to the coaches, but he, as a senior manager, is actually marrying in the style of play, where before, just under 21s hit a brick wall. Boom, because O'Neill or Mick was like, well, I'm not going to pick them because they're not 30. Sorry, but it's a results business, and then they go to shit.
I'm not also saying that Stephen Kenny, as our senior manager, should be running around watching grassroots football and stuff. I would say anytime I've met him or I've seen him meet kids, basically, who have, at trainings and stuff, he spends a lot of time with fans. Even at the games, he goes to League of Ireland, and he always asks them where are you playing, and he kind of does seem to know, obviously, the FAI League of Ireland set up grassroots. I don't think he's got the time, has he, to be running around everywhere doing it.
It's a full-time job. It's a full-time
job.
job.
I see the coach development stuff in Ireland. I see that he does do presentations and that. So does John O'Shea. Lots of different coaches. Names like Paul McShane was over. Well, we know he's with Man United, but he was over at the recent coach education for the FAI. There is that structure in there, and I think he is important, obviously, as a figurehead of that to some extent, because he's come through the system himself, Stephen Kenny. So that's where I'd made the point on that. Again, though, just one other thing, David. Sorry, I know. Yeah, no, but David, everyone who wants Stephen Kenny out, there is no answer, and this is actually in Stephen Kenny's favour at the moment. There is no other people. There's no other names that you would say, okay, is he going to come in and do the same thing? Like, the League of Ireland sadly isn't strong enough that you're saying there's an up and coming manager. Like, no one. If Damien Duff had won the cup this year and won the league, would people be going like, oh, we've got to be getting him in there because he's got a great name now, and look at him, he's what a fantastic revolutionary coach. That would be the call, but no one is ripping up trees to do that who we can afford. And if we go down the route of Big Sam or Dyche even, that's backwards for Irish football in the long-term development, I think.
So, of course, well, I mean, Dave McGuinness did say this a while ago that he's not an advocate for Big Sam or the Dyche either, which is good. Last comment of the night, lads. John Daly, I agree. Good man. We'll leave it there. No, just joking. Why bring Jeff and Friendly to achieve a victory that we should have brought in players to nestle them in. Joke Ferguson must be well annoyed 2 minutes, or was it that the manager thought that maybe his dad?
I know his dad because he's known as his dad, Ferguson's dad.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah, he's a good guy in the FA board, and he is a good guy. Totally agree there. Right, lads, we're going to leave it there. We are back tomorrow with the pre-game foreplay. And we're live. We are going to be live from the Ta Ali Stadium, and I cannot wait for that. But mostly right now, I cannot wait for my bed. I'm absolutely knackered. Thank you very much for your comments. We don't always agree, but that's the beauty of the Green Machine podcast, isn't it? You can say what you want. And, you know, and Dave McGuinness appreciates that. Thanks, fellas. Look forward to tomorrow. Yeah. One last one. It's not about the past or that our children can relate. We need a set of bring on France, Holland. At least it'll bring an atmosphere. We as Ireland had the highest attempts, 90 friendly, and only showed old hand. Good man, John. And that's what it's all about. We love the debates here, and we're very happy to have the debates. Lads, we're going to leave it there. Martin, thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for your comments. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow for the main game in international football around the world.
Number one game. Forget about the World Cup, right? Forget about that shit going on.
We boycotted it first.
We did. We fucking did 3 games in. We said, no, we're not having it. We will be back for the team announcement. We'll have a little bit of foreplay before that, and then straight after kickoff, we will be back with the post-match.
Really looking forward to it. I'm looking for a big performance tomorrow in the game, and hearing all about that. So see everyone tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. I don't even have it lined up. Not tomorrow. That's it. Yeah.